And back in Radiance we are. Alright. I did your little side mission, buddy.
Peace be with you, stranger.
Have you placed the embers on the altars? The undead will continue to rise until the wards have been restored. Yes, the barrow is once again warded from corruption. Excellent! This is wonderful news. If left unchecked, the corruption could have spread to the nearby countryside. Maybe all of Domus. You have done a great thing this day, Lightbringer. Here, take this magic staff I found during one of my research trips to the Barrows. You will get much more use out of it than I. Now, what shall I continue my focus my research on next? So let's see if this truly is an upgrade. It is the Fine Iron Scepter of Firebolt. Lose 1 vitality and we get Firebolt instead of Firebolt. Nope, same spell, but less stats. So it's actually worse. Well, that was worth doing quest for. It's a good thing I do it just for the experience, really. Speaking of which, how are we doing now? We're a little chunk ahead now. Yeah, that one quest reward not working out really hit me. Alright, Surma, we did your mission.
Question for me, Lightbringer.
We see that you have been reunited with your companion. Now we can begin in earnest. I have some questions about the Ember crisis. Of course, ask us anything. What will happen when all the embers are gone? When the last ember's glow fades, Domos will be torn asunder. The 3 races are entirely dependent on the embers, so they will fall to anarchy and war, but far worse, the land itself will rot beneath our feet. The land will rot? Why? When the embers fall, the early Lightbringers, known as druids, found that death of an ember forever tainted the surrounding area. You've seen this corruption yourself, I'm sure, but when they all die, the corruption will spread, uncontained. What else can you tell me about the Ember Goddess? The goddess is the mother of all the embers. She is a being born from the heavens, sending her children to Domos out of the generosity of her universal spirit. I've seen a great deal of corruption, mutated animals, people who've lost their sanity. This all caused by the death of embers? Yes, you see, the corruption is more prevalent in the wilds, like the cemetery in the northern forest, where few living embers remain. The human cities remain safe and uncorrupted at the expense of the surrounding wilds. Every ember that dies at the hands of the 3 races leads Domos one step closer to destruction. I have more questions about the crisis. How can the 3 races not know that the embers are living creatures? Most embers are small and speechless. Humans display them or use them as jewelry, as if they were any other gemstone. They simply don't realize that when the light fades, the sentient creature has died. Awakened embers that can speak, like Fia, are quite rare. What will happen when all the embers are gone? When the last ember's glow fades, Domos will be torn asunder. The 3 races are entirely dependent on the embers, so they will fall to anarchy and I already read that one, whoops. My bad. Cora told me they have a plan to resolve the Ember crisis. What is their plan? What do we do next? We must speak to the Ember Goddess. Appeal to her maternal instincts. Implore her to save her children. If she saves her children, she saves our world. What can the goddess do? She has no control over the 3 races. Or does she? She is all-powerful. We cannot begin to imagine what she's capable of. But we can hope, in her wisdom, that she whisks all the embers away from the 3 races and places them here in Radiance, so that we can protect them as your ancestors did. The 3 races will have to deal with the resulting chaos, but at least they will still have a planet to call home. Cora told me that your plan involves speaking to the 3 races. Yes, but not for the reasons you think. Don't concern yourself with that right now. Then we should begin immediately. How do I communicate with the Ember Goddess? Julius, a researcher here, believes he knows a way to open the portal that will allow you to enter the goddess's realm. Only a Lightbringer can enter the portal. That's why you're here, but Julius is missing a textbook, without which we cannot reach the create the portal. Its title is Restoration of Lightbringer, and it resides within the Great Library. I want to discuss one little issue here, which is that, like, the Embers arriving is seen as, like, a great thing. Like, it's a power that came to the planet, and it's, like, it's kind of framed like a positive force, but if all of the Embers being destroyed is going to destroy the world, it sure seems like the Embers arriving is kind of like, almost like the like the beginning of the Armageddon, basically. Like, their mere arrival dooms us, because the moment they all die, everybody dies, if it's gonna rot the entire planet. So it's weird. It's like a ticking time bomb, basically. They might be functionally immortal because they are just gemstones and don't die of old age or anything, but if something can kill them, then theoretically, eventually, they will all die at some point as a result of something killing them eventually. And if that's the case, then yeah, the moment they show up, they essentially become. It becomes an issue of like we know how the world will end now. We just don't know when, which is making me wonder whether the goddess is a pure benevolent thing like they're framing it to be, or if the goddess might be some darker force and that maybe this is all intentional and she has infinite time and just destroys things with these embers or not. It's worth thinking about, at least. We'll see. I suppose if you could simply walk into this great library and acquire the book, you would have done so, yes?
All right, I'm listening.
You used to take me to libraries? They were wonderful places. The knowledge, the scholars, the smell of old books, the slushing. The shushing, I mean. This should not be slushing in a library. That'd be a very different sound for a library. I have no doubt about the shushing. May we continue? The Great Library is now known as the Goblin Library. It was taken over by goblins shortly after the War of the Giants. We are not a fan of goblins. What would goblins of all creatures want with a library? It was certainly not their love of knowledge. They essentially wanted a roof over their heads. Goblins have traditionally lived in tiny caves, so you can imagine the allure of a grand, empty library. They have no interest in the books, and in fact the book Julius needs may long be gone. For all we know, the goblins have used the pages to wipe their mouths or worse. Was there no one guarding it? Were there no defenses? Sadly, no. After the War of the Giants ended, Domus was in turmoil, you see. The kingdoms called back their guards for more urgent situations, and soon the patrons themselves stopped visiting the library due to the dangers of the surrounding wilds. We'll be on our way then. Let us pray the book is intact. We have marked the location of the library on your map, and we suggest you use the power of teleportation to get to the Barrows, then head south. When you deal with the Goblin King, remember that he is a great lover of learning. You may want to elevate your speech, but beneath his intellect, he's still a goblin. Approach him thoughtfully. Yeah. Interesting that he seems to say that goblins have no interest in learning, but the only goblin we've encountered so far had a book that was stolen from him by another goblin, which immediately 2 out of 2 goblins we've encountered so far actually have an interest in books. And then, yeah, their king even is known for his interest in learning. So that's 3 out of 3 goblins I've talked about or heard of or met have been interested in books so far. This guy might have a less than accurate idea of how these guys really function. See, Scarlet Sage should be used for healing. We do a large... Nope. We can only use medium empty flasks for these guys. There we go. There's a health potion for the supply. And I picked up one other type, right? Or so I thought. I'm never great at scanning these lists, am I? I picked up a different type of plant, right? Oh, there we go. Hellebore. It's hiding on the other page. Oh no, never mind. It's just a different page than the one the potions go to. Vitality Potion. Increases vitality by a moderate amount for 30 seconds. Effect is applied to the entire party. Alright, cool. Let's see here. I'm curious where exactly you do leather working. Because obviously this is an alchemy refinery used for alchemy. Is there a series of different tools around here, though? I'll have to figure out how to do leatherworking. Although I'll still have to figure out how to make the base components of the leatherworking. We need to get like a cap pattern, I believe. Let's go ahead and finish.
Have you accepted the goddess as your savior?
Excuse me, I've already talked to you. I figure every time I come by Radiance, I'll read one more book around here, since there's so many of them. I can kind of space them out that way. So let's follow up on the second half of the War of the Giants story. If you remember last time, they were talking about how the war was coming to a turn because 2 outside forces were brought in that were previously not interested in the conflict. Otherwise, beforehand it was the 3 races versus the Giants, but things changed course. The war came right up to their doorstep. King Argathor had ignored it for so long, resisting the summons of his brother, King Archimedes. His brother had abandoned Pinnacle and its ways many years beforehand, but the war was spreading, and it was not long before they could see the battlefields burning in the distance. From high atop the guard towers, the news spread, and Pinnacle reluctantly began to muster arms. Further north, the shepherds could smell the burning in the wind. It greatly concerned them, though they had received no summons to battle, nor shared any entangling alliances which could call them forth. They called the first shepherd moot in 500 years to discuss the growing threat in the distance. The moot was hesitant. They had not faced open battle since the early sun days of the Third Age. When the weirding had invaded the forest, some young shepherds sensed the stakes of this war and urged a more direct involvement than ever before. The old shepherds did not like it. They felt the approaching doom and implored caution. They urged the shepherds to stick close to the forest and to what they knew, but the young did not listen, and the moot approved an envoy to be sent to the King Archimedes, offering an unprecedented army of shepherds if he desired them. Though he knew little about the shepherds and their ways, King Archimedes accepted their help gladly, for he had reached a point of great despair. The armories of the three races had been driven back to farmlands and small villages northeast of the City of Light. Giants now controlled much of Archimedes' kingdom. His brother, now just a short ride away, continued to ignore his summons, and the dwarves and elves had begun to talk of retreat back to their own home fronts. Sensing that he had reached a make-or-break moment of the war, Archimedes organized the biggest offensive yet seen, hoping to cut a path through the giant lines and retake the City of Light. The attack began at dawn. The four allied armies attacked from all angles, and the giants' front line broke. Archimedes pushed his men forward, hoping to rout them, but he was foolhardy. The giants had prepared for a potential offensive, and when Archimedes reached the giants' rear, he found his force heavily outnumbered. The giants had been busy recruiting shards, weirdlings, and a rogue band of drifters to the cause, promising them more lands and freedom than they had ever had before. The clash dragged on for days. Both sides sustained unimaginable losses, and it seemed for a while that it would end in a draw. But the giants and their compatriots took advantage of their foes' exhaustion and stormed the lines in the dead of night, when even the most diligent guard had grown weary. It was not long before the alliance of races was in full retreat, all save the shepherds, who fought valiantly as everything around them collapsed. The battle was lost. As Archimedes led the retreat, convinced that he had just witnessed the end of his kingdom, he came upon a great force. The army of Pinnacle had finally descended from on high. King Argathor rode at the head, dressed in all white, a look of fury on his face. For a moment, Archimedes was convinced that Argathor had decided to wipe out his army and claim the kingdom himself, but Argathor embraced his brother, offered him the services of his grand army, and swore that Pinnacle would fight till the war was won. Once more, we come upon a theory upon which Bombus, the excellent dwarven historian, disagrees with. It is my and many City of Light historians' belief that Argathor decided to fight on purely selfish reasons. The battle on the farmlands took place less than 50 miles from Pinnacle, and Argathor had no doubt realized that the giants wiping out his brother's kingdom would leave Pinnacle extremely vulnerable and isolated. He therefore had no choice but to take up arms and fight by his brother's side, though he detested him. Bombus, always a sentimental historian, believed that Argathor's wife, Elandra, whose family came from the City of Light, persuaded him to see that letting any human, even those who went against Pinnacle's ways, perish, eroded the very values upon which Argathor's kingdom was built. Furthermore, Bombus preposterously asserts that Elandra awoke a brotherly love that had long been dormant, and that's what drove him to his brother's aid. I'll leave it to you, the reader, which explanation makes more sense. With Pinnacle part of the alliance, the tide of the war turns. The Pinnacle men are great warriors, and it's not long before the giants begin to fear their coming. Argathor is the fiercest of them all. A fable persists that Argathor slayed over 50 giants in one battle with nothing but a hunting knife. Whether true or not, the entrance of Pinnacle into the war turns the tides dramatically. In a year's time, the giants surrender, and new firm boundaries are worked out between all races, with the giants retaining largely the giant cliffs and some small outlying islands. The Great War of the Giants comes to an end. Much changed in the New World. Archimedes died a year after the war ended, and with his heir to the throne having perished in the war, the throne was given to Argathor, who reluctantly accepted and combined the kingdoms of Pinnacle and City of Light for the first time in 200 years. A new city of Una is formed, where drifters, shards, and races who've been neglected may live and prosper. The saddest development, without a doubt, is a mystery and crime which is still unsolved. During the Battle of the Farmlands, at which the shepherds fought valiantly and never retreated, a fire began in the eastern forest, their home. The fire spread quickly, and the few other shepherds remaining found themselves unable to stop it, for it was magical in origin. The fire spread, and so it was, when the triumphant shepherd army returned home, they found that their home had been leveled by a mysterious blaze. To this day, the shepherds guard what's left of the forest, now called Shepherd Plains, searching for survivors and hunting for clues as to who or what started the fire that ruined their home. Let's take a look at a map then, see if we can find Shepherd Plains. There it is, right here on the bottom. So that's actually good to read on that stuff then. We're learning the reasons, we're learning significance of locations like the Cliff of Giants and the Bog of Souls and the Shepherd Plains bit by bit. And the Farmlands actually, and the City of Light, and wow. Yeah. The last few things we've read covered most of the locations in the game actually. So the Shepherds came from the Shepherd Plains to help the City of Light and Pinnacle at the Battle of the Farmlands down here in the middle. And so they were being attacked around there. And then Bog of Souls is where the Lightbringers and Darkbringers had their fight. The Cliff of Giants is the location where the giants are now isolated and separated at. So like that's yeah. We actually got context for a lot of the world just now. That's a nice touch. So now the big thing is that I've made it. We've been through here, Northern Forest. I just need to get across the Northern Forest because he said to head. Yep. Gotta head all the way over here. Let's see here. Yep. Goblin Library involves a lot of going to the north and to the west. So I think I'll see you guys in a bit. I need to traverse a lot of this known territory we've already been in a lot. And we'll cross this forest and get to the new place. I'm now most of the way there. But I'm curious here because I've encountered these guys on the map. Hello, Bo. Who are you guys?
You scared me.
Halt. I'm Bo, and Boss told me to guard this spot. Hello, Bo. Why can't we pass? Boss told me to guard this spot. I always do what Boss says. Who's your boss? Monty is the boss. I do what he says so he'll like me. Do you know Johan? Boss hates Johan. Johan cheating at cards. Johan is short. I also hate Johan. We have that in common, so you should let us pass. Sorry, no one can pass. Not even friends. Boss said no one. Okay, Bo, calm down. We'll just back away. Okay, interesting. Wonder what organization they work for. Are they blocking all the paths into this part of the forest? Seems to me like I could just walk over here a little bit and then be in that part of the forest without them knowing. Ta-da! Yep, that seems like a pretty easy trick to get around them. Cool, interesting how all the trees change in appearance when you enter this map. Kind of seals the deal on being able to tell that you're in a new location. Not quite what I'm going for, though. Oh, there's some copper. Might as well collect what we can. But yeah, we're not planning on going that way. Instead, we'll go along this bridge, which seems to be closer to what my goal is. But I'm sure we'll be having to deal with Boss sometime soon. Further ahead is Goblin territory. Not a place one would ordinarily want to go. Certainly not me. Are the goblins dangerous? The ones that live outside the library have committed crimes against other goblins. They've been exiled from the library by the Goblin King. Given their numbers, we can surmise that there is a great deal of goblin upon goblin crime inside. The Goblin King actually enforces law and order inside the library. I have heard the Goblin King is not only the largest and strongest of all goblins, but also somewhat intelligent as well. I had hoped to never verify this rumor personally, but... And then he just decided to stop talking, I guess. That's a Interesting ending to a sentence, I suppose. Hello, goblins. Just as you expect, right at the end of the bridge here. I take it we're not going to be getting along.
Wake up, boys. Trouble is near.
Nope. It's not talkie time. They've got unusually deep and monstrous little voices for goblins. Usually they're all like
Sharp and squeaky and conniving sounding.
Yeah, those surprisingly deep voices. Let's do a ground smash. There we go. Just working the pile down. There we go. They're straightforward enough enemies, really. There we go. What you guys got?
Good in their pockets.
Ragged leather for the helm. A lot of ragged leather and crude iron hatchets. I believe ragged leather is the type of armor we're already using. That actually helps reinforce the idea of that one loading screen I saw that was insisting that supposedly it was insisting that crafted stuff is better, and the one thing I can craft, where is that? The one I know how to craft is a superior heavy leather helm as opposed to a rugged leather helm, so that helps enforce the that helps get that idea straight in your head. That like, oh yeah, that's supposed to be the better version of things. Let's do a greater heal on Lightbringer. Oh, even that's still not a full heal. Alright. So healing is not something that my party is super capable of right now. So fighting enemies in smaller groups means shorter fights with less damage taken, and that's probably the best approach I can do to not having too much damage come our way. Because we can't do that. We don't really have very effective healing methods available right now unless I use the camp. There really are just enemies everywhere here. Was that purple spot mean? Oh, it's a fire. It's a fireplace. That makes sense. Yeah, I'd be happy to craft stuff, but I haven't found a ton of herbs yet. It's kind of getting in the way of things. Hello. I think we're in for a big fight here. Okay, we'll do a healing burst. There we go. That hit everybody. Alright, that's a big fight. Probably a good time to do one of these. Alright. Blow them away. I'm sure we'll be fine and definitely not super dead in a moment here. I'll pop Berserk. Do a Firebolt. Try to take out the guy that's attacking her. There we go. Lightbringer's safe now. Try and get the AoEs in there while I can, because they're kind of bunched up. Okay, we'll be fine. We should be just fine. That teleporting attack is actually rather satisfying so far.
That'll teach him to mess with us.
A few maces. Oh, what is a barboot? Just 2 armor. It's a plate helm with 2 armor. That's pretty garbage, actually, yeah. Not encouraging. I doubt it's useful for anything besides selling. Those piles of books? Oh, they're burning books to cook food. How do they even have enough books to do that? I imagine they've been here for a while, but this place is literally called the Goblin Library, so it's hard to figure out that concept a little bit. Of how if they're burning books at a pace where they can cook their food on a regular basis, how they have books inside at all. Guess we'll find out, or it won't be addressed. In we go. Hi. I'm sure you're all happy to see us. Oh, green names. Interesting. This is the domain of Crocus. Alright, so you're Crocus.
And what are you?
Stop there. I am Crocus, the leader of the Crocus clan, slayer of men, elves, dwarves, and rabbits. What are you doing here? Only good goblins allowed in library. Let's see. Ooh, they did say I might want to pretty up my speech. Should I try to grovel to him a little bit? Oh, great Crocus, leader of goblins, slayer of men, I am the Lightbringer, and we are searching for a tome. Will you allow us to enter your library? You have heard of Crocus. I think you're lying, Lightholder. Do you think I am dull? Let's see. Wow, let's not do the insult. Nonsense. The Crocus clan is feared by every warrior I have ever met. To meet the head of that ferocious band is quite an honor. If you are lying, you do it quite well, Lightstorer. We are the strongest clan in the library. Go see Goblin King. He rules all clans and keeps all fancy books. We watch you, no funny business. So he's not the Goblin King, he's just the leader of this individual clan. So he's actually not the person we were talking about as far as prettying up her speech or anything, but still make the ego boost worked apparently. Or I can turn around and attack him. Thank you, Crocus. We will go see your king. Wait, one more thing, Lantern Bringer. While you were looking for your book, can you look for a book for me? Can you describe this book?
Get away from me.
It's called Book of Summoning Wishes, and it was stolen by Orkin. He left my clan to make a new clan with Oligar and stole my book on that way out. Who does that? If you run into him, chop off his head, or at least spit on him and get the book back. I give you a nice reward for helping me. Wait, I have the book right now. I found it in the barrows next to a dead goblin. Here, you can have it. Dead? Good, dirty stealer. Here's your reward. Gotta hide this real good this time. There we go. Payoff for that earlier occurrence. And Cora leveled up. Let's see. Intellect going up is obviously a bonus. I'm gonna go for a little vitality too, though. Because increasing health is clearly gonna help, because everyone's kind of going down faster than I want them to. Cool. Alright. Mystery solved about the book. Weird how the other character seemed to talk about the stolen book, but wasn't interested in taking it. So apparently that was the other person that they ran off with. Oh, these all have red on them. I assume that means that if I grab them, that it counts as stealing. Interesting. But they don't care about gold, apparently. So I'll grab those. Hey, chickens. You guys have a lot of chickens, huh? Side quests? Oh, there are side quests lying all around. Okay, let's get started then. There's one right over here.
So many useless books.
Kachu?
Why are you bothering me?
Not right now. Okay, Kachu's not in mood. Something wrong? I lost my shiny stone. I hid it, and now I can't find it. I'm dreaming through this place. Maybe I can find it. What'd it look like? It big, blue, and shiny. I hid in bookcase. Forgot how many there are in this place. Do you remember anything about this bookcase? There was a tiny blue flame above it. Will you help Kachu? It would make me very happy. I suppose so. If I stumble across it, I'll return it. Thank you. You are much nicer than most goblins. Probably because I'm human. Surprise. When trolls walked Domus. I feel like I have to look at that one. Let's take a look at that. This game has so many books in it. And like, I think this location is even them making fun of it, which is extra funny. Where is this? When trolls walk Domus. We walk... It's by Horatio the Gifted. We walk in the seas from shore to sea. We walk in the darkness from shore to sea. We rule over all things from rock to bare tree. Domus is ours, we prattle and hum. Fire is welcome. On nights we are merry. We dance and we prance without any care. Our great joy shakes the ground. The giants are wary. But we bear them no ill will and leave them to their share. For trolls are not evil, though many may think so. We are proud and compassionate, which our appearance doesn't show. Yes, we are large. Yes, we know we are large. Yes, we know we are scary. Yet, yes, our feet are enormous, six-toed and hairy. But we are not ashamed, for we are in charge. We've explored this land, from deep ocean to calm sea. We wonder, should Domus be so we wonder, should... Is that the rhyme we're going for? To calm sea, we wonder why Domus should be so empty. Our trolls and giants, all the gods have planned, yet still we dance and look at the stars, and wonder if this existence is all that we are. Perhaps there are places where fire burns high, where things grow from the dirt, and the light doesn't hurt. Is there more to life than the night sky? For life has grown lonely and winter's too cold. The dancers were only a distraction, fool's gold. One night we heard noise from out in the black, explosions and roars like a vicious attack. Then the sky was not dark, invaded by color, oranges, blues, reds, like a newly lit fire. We gathered today and saw one another as the orb rose before us to end our empire. Oh jeez. How's that for a turn, huh? Is that the blue fire he was talking about? No, that's a cobweb. Alright, we'll see if I can find a blue fire, but we'll also check in on some of these other NPCs on the way. Might as well check with them first before we visit the Goblin King. Oh, no, over here. Oh, this stuff doesn't count as stealable. I assumed that red text meant that it'd be stolen if I grabbed it, and that was bad. So, and I'm gonna stick with that assumption because it seems pretty accurate. Otherwise, why else would you have red highlighted text, right? We're just filling up our inventory, though, aren't we? Wow. Wow, this stuff is everywhere. Okay. Cheese. A lot of food items.